Welcome for more science. I'm your host, Boston PhD, joined as always by Dr. Moon.
Hello.
We're here to talk about the most recent game, Mewgenics. But first, we just passed a note here by the regular hosts here on the show, the non-scientific hosts here, and they have chosen Raccoin for their next game. So for the next month, they're going to be playing Raccoin. So go check that out for the next couple of weeks. But before they get into that, we need to figure out where we're going to put Mewgenics on our list. We're going to talk about our final thoughts here on the game, played for the past month. We're going to answer the question we ask every month, which is, are we going to keep playing the game after we're done with it on the show or not? And then we'll put it in our list of the infallible, the best roguelikes of all time over at weroguelikeit.com. Moon, let's start the task that I have not wanted to think about over the last couple of weeks or so, and let's figure out our final thoughts about Mewgenics. I'll start with you.
Why do I have to go first?
Because I am avoiding it.
Okay. Mewgenics is a perfectly solid mechanical game, which is spoiled by its difficulty and its, for lack of a better phrase, edgelordiness
Yes.
of the always online nature of someone who was always online in like 1998.
Mm-hmm.
Mechanically, it's fantastic. It plays really well, but it's just so mean. It's so long and difficult and like annoying as hell to play sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a game.
Are you gonna keep playing it?
Honestly, probably not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely not going to keep it. Like, so I have been playing this on my ally,
Mm-hmm.
and like the controller support is really spot on.
Oh, nice.
Um, but it's just I've got Hades on that thing, like, and I'm working towards the full gamer score on Hades, like, and I can do a half of a run in that, and it can take me like 15-20 minutes.
Yeah. I
Like, I don't know.
I share
It's disappointing.
I share your same sentiments here. What frustrates me so much about this game is the combat part of this game. I think is outstanding. They really nailed that feeling. I hesitated to call it like the almost puzzle feeling because I don't want people to get confused with Into the Breach. Is these on when you look at them, they're very similar games, but Into the Breach is a puzzle game first and foremost, and this
Uh-huh.
is like a Final Fantasy Tactics homage. You know, that sort of isometric, kind of 2D grid based sort of thing. And I think
Yeah, XCOM if you're younger.
XCOM, yeah, without the like half cover, full cover thing. To me,
Hmm.
that's the like dividing line between XCOM and its similar things is the kind of like
The cover system.
the cover system, and then the rolling the dice of like you have a 99% chance to hit this alien with this sniper rifle. It's going to miss. Welcome to XCOM. Where to me, like Final Fantasy Tactics and stuff, it feels similar with less cover mechanics and um, a little bit more fuzziness around the numbers of rolling the dice. And I think that stuff in a vacuum works really well from gameplay perspective. I think
Yeah.
navigating the map and running into a lot of those things, I think is well designed at a high level, And I like taking the different paths. I like kind of seeing the randomness of what you're going to get in each of the areas. I When you get more past that, that's where the frustrations start to mount. You just said this game is cruel. I think it is. I 100% agree with you that I don't mind if a game is difficult, and I don't mind if a game is cruel. We've played plenty of roguelikes that I think can be described as mean or cruel, but there's like a gleeful nature behind the cruelty in this of like, yeah, I got those gamers. I got them real good. And it's like,
Yeah.
I just, okay, sure. So like that is frustrating. I feel like the event system overall, the lack of information around what you're rolling for or what your chances are or all of that stuff, that level of obfuscating any of the numbers behind any of that stuff leads to, I think, myself and a lot of other people, now that I'm looking at feedback and reviews and stuff, just avoiding it when at all possible, because it seems like the bonuses, if you can get them, aren't that good, and the negatives, when you do get them, are quite bad.
Yeah.
So I think all of that together feels really frustrating. I think the house management stuff, and again, if anyone is maybe a new listener, we play these games for 4 weeks, and we get as far as we can in the 4 weeks, and then we play them if we're going to keep playing them, or we don't. So there are some games where we get to the end, or we see the majority of it, and you kind of are on the kind of grinding treadmill after that. And there are some games like this one where I played a ton of this game over the last month and a half, and I'm still scratching the surface. I think when I last looked at the game, when you go load your game, it tells you like an hour count and a percentage. I think my the last time I looked it up, I was at 19 or 20% through this game, which is kind of a lot, but I still feel like there's this yawning chasm in front of me of content. So when I say that the other side of the coin, the other frustration point for me is the house and the cat breeding management stuff. That stuff felt, like I talked about in the last episode, I felt like it was finally starting to pay off, of like, oh, the cats that are coming out of retirement, and no, the cats that are being retired and are breeding and creating cats that have their passive abilities, active abilities, stats, mutations, etc. I'm finally feeling like that has gotten to the point where the beginning of a run feels a lot stronger than it used to, because of all of those bonuses I'm getting from all these cats. But like we've talked about, managing the house, managing the cats, expanding your house, all of that stuff feels really rough and feels really frustrating to interact with overall. To me, Mewgenics feels frustrating overall, because I think if the house management and cat breeding management stuff was a little bit more accessible and was a little bit easier, I think a lot of this game would have felt a lot better. Because I think I could get the cats I want, get them out on a run, and start the other half of the game. But there's so much friction on all of this game that it is so frustrating, and there's so much like I kind of don't know what I don't know, especially with a lot of the collars of like, okay, I'm just going to try this collar again. I don't understand what makes this. I don't understand what combination of things can make the Necromancer good. And the game isn't really telling me and isn't really giving me all of the pieces that I need. And like that feeling was soothed when I'd get into the fights and be like, this is really great. But like you said, I'm getting a fight after fight after fight on like a hour and a half, 2 hour long run. And then at the very end, I lose because the boss can take like 4 or 5 turns in one turn. Like, there's this, it's just an incredibly uneven game across all of its aspects that when the game sort of shows its teeth, either with the difficulty or with the cruelty of it, it feels especially bad because when things are really cooking, when you have a good team of cats, when they have natural synergies with them, when you get when the roll of the dice gives you good passives or active abilities that synergize with your inherited bred passives that your cats have, all of that stuff feels really great. But there's so many speed bumps on the way to getting that to happen and to getting the smoothness that it feels like, for me, it's not worth it to fire the game up again and be like, okay, I'm going to do another 2 to 2.5 hour run that might accomplish something and might not. And even if I win, like, what am I really going to get out of it at this point? Because the progression with the NPCs especially feels so slow that I feel like I'm just kind of like playing over and over and over again and crossing my fingers that the roll of the dice is kind enough to me, and it typically isn't, which I think is really frustrating. So I won't be playing this again unless they do some massive overhaul to it, which I get the impression from Twitter posts that it probably will not be the case, which is fine. It's that, again, that's their game to kind of make and manage. But I don't really see myself looking to spend multiple hours per run on this game. And the longer I was playing it over the weeks, the less I wanted to fire it up and the quicker I wanted to be done with it, which I think is really not what you're looking for in a game for a lot of reasons. I think part of the thing that I'm really struggling with is that's a real disappointment. Like, when you look at The Legend of Bumbo, there was a lot of development problems. It had a very troubled development. So when that came out and kind of had a rough landing, that made a lot of sense. It's like, okay, you can kind of see the gem that's in here, and hopefully it comes out eventually. The End is Nigh wasn't really a game for me, so it's like, this seemed like a game where it's like, okay, Ed and Tyler are making the next big game before Isaac 3, making the next big game after the Binding of Isaac. And for me, it doesn't really live up to that. And I think that's a bummer for a lot of reasons. So that's why it's been hard to figure out what my thoughts are on this game. So let's figure out where we're going to put it in this giant list of the best roguelikes of all time. We decided off air, kind of, shooting a shot in the dark here. We're going to start here with number 40. Is Mewgenics better than Wizard of Legend?
I think so. Wizard of Legend is very, very, very difficult. And it has that compounding difficulty too, where it just gets harder and harder and harder the more you play it.
Yeah, it's interesting because Wizard of Legend is a very difficult game, but it feels difficult in a different way that feels a little bit less accessible than Mewgenics does. I think Mewgenics, for all of its problems, I think does have a fairly smooth tutorialization and onboarding. Like that does really feel pretty straightforward at the beginning of the game. And I think Wizard of Legend is sort of like, all right, you just gotta get better, buddy. Just get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Mewgenics better than BPM bullets per minute?
I think so.
I think so
And
too.
that's a tough thing for me to say because I love BPM, but I know it's a difficult game. It's a very demanding game.
Yeah.
And it does feel very punishing, as you experienced, if you struggle with the demands that is expected of you.
And I think Mewgenics, the variety from run to run feels a lot higher than BPM. I think one of BPM's, it's not failings, because I think the point is like you need to know these songs by heart. That way you can have that kind of like sixth sense when you go in and play those levels. But I think that can be to its detriment every once in a while of like having that kind of samey feeling per run. And I think Mewgenics avoids that pretty nicely. So I agree with you. Is Mewgenics better than Nuclear Throne? Nuclear Throne kind of
I think so.
Famous for its difficulty.
Yeah, famous for its difficulty, and also it is nightmarishly difficult, like as a whole, like characters, levels. It's another cruel game, I would say.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I think from what I remember, Nuclear Throne feels a little bit more fair in its in-run difficulty of like, oh, okay, I didn't see that guy, or like, oh, of course I shot the exploding bear and I blew up. Okay, sure. Where I think Mewgenics can avoid that during its battles, but I think Mewgenics for me is better than Nuclear Throne. I think because again, I think it's the beginning of the game is often the beginning of Mewgenics, to be explicitly clear, I think is a lot smoother than a lot of these games we're talking about. Of like, it has a really solid tutorial. The first little bit is fairly easy. Comparatively. So yeah, I agree with you. I think Mewgenics is better than Nuclear Throne. Is Mewgenics better than Risk of Rain 2? Okay, this is a hard one.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is it
Would
better?
you like the reasons why?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice and simply, the end boss is not a nightmarish hellscape that you can't win.
Fair. Yeah.
It does not progress to the point of constantly looping, which is the only way to really do well in that game, it feels like. Like, once you've got a certain distance in, the end boss is just almost unbeatable.
Yep.
It came out relatively unbalked.
True.
And Mewgenics has, and it has remained unbalked. And Risk of Rain 2 has now been purchased by a Rongun company and also continues to be balked every time new stuff comes onto it.
True. Yeah, that is a really good point. I feel like the extended development and playtesting behind Mewgenics, I think resulted in a fairly, from what I have seen, a fairly bug-free and smooth launch, which I think is kind of impressive. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's interesting because I think Risk of Rain 2 has a different difficulty problem than Mewgenics does. Where you're right, even if you like loop once and you go to the boss, Risk of Rain 2, it's impossibly difficult. And if you try to kind of get stronger and stronger by doing multiple loops, the game makes the end boss stronger because that's kind of how Risk of Rain works. But it then also has that quote unquote fun twist of the game just starts sending you enemies that can one shot you no matter what.
Yep.
So it sort of feels like a similar but different kind of like middle finger to you as the player of like, oh, you thought you're going to get strong? Bam, done. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
what? I I
Not
think
ideal.
yeah, I think I agree with you. I think Mewgenics is higher than Risk of Rain 2, but we're like already getting into the difficult ones here, which is
Yes.
concerning. Is Mewgenics better than Maze Mice? Could
I'm
not
gonna
be
say
more
yes,
different.
and only because I think it is a more in-depth game.
Sure.
Obviously, it's a bigger game. It's got 56,000 years behind it,
Right.
I think it has a lot to offer. I think Maze Mice is a quality game and is a very simple game by necessity of the type of game it is.
Yeah, and also
Um,
just one developer.
yeah, and like I'll be honest, like I would rather play Maze Mice,
Yeah,
but I do think Mewgenics is probably a better game.
I think I'd agree with that. I do really like Maze Mice, but it's another one of those games too that I feel sort of similarly uh, with Mewgenics, where sort of like I feel like I had my fill. I didn't see everything that Maze Mice has, but I was sort of like, okay,
Hmm.
I think I get it, and I played enough to be satisfied. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll agree with you on that one too. Is Mewgenics better than Go Mecha Ball? Oh boy, Go Mecha Ball's real good.
thoughts?
Um, I, I sort of want to say yes, and I'm trying to figure out why. My kind of knee jerk reaction is yes, because I do like Go Mecha Ball quite a bit, and I feel like once it took a little bit of time for Go Mecha Ball to click with me, but once it did, and once I kind of I think got the way that game wanted me to play it, I was like, oh, this is really good.
Hmm.
How are you feeling?
Honestly, I could go either way on this one.
I don't. They're so different. Is the problem that I'm
Yeah.
struggling with, and I think for both of these games they feel immediately really good. Like playing Mewgenics and getting through those first couple of fights feels really good, and you're like, okay, great, this is just a strategy game. I love it. And same with Go Mecha Ball of like, oh, I am this kind of pinball robot, and bust in through this environment, and that actually works too. Okay.
I don't know. I could go either way, and to be honest, I probably did have more fun with Go Mecha Ball, and it might not be as big, it might not be as in depth. I think it's a better game.
You think Go Mecha Ball is a better game than Mewgenics?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Because
Like
I
if you were to say to me now, we're gonna do a never before seen, or rather, the hosts of the other show are gonna do a never before seen sequel season where they take a game that they've already played and play it again for another 4 weeks.
right.
I would rather be dragged over glass than play Mewgenics for another 4 weeks at this point in time.
Yeah. If I don't play Mewgenics again, it'll be too soon. And like, I don't mean to be overly mean about it. It's just clearly not a game for me, and I'm not in a place right now to keep like punching myself in the crotch for 2-hour runs at a time. Like I agree, and I think the thing too is looking at games above Go Mecha Ball. I don't think it goes above any of the rest of those games. Like the game right above this is Cult of the Lamb. I don't think this is a better game than Cult of the Lamb. I just like flat out. So I'm okay putting it there at number 36 in the list here. Congratulations, Mewgenics, at number 36 on the list of the best roguelikes of all time. Reminder that's infallible. It cannot be proven wrong because it's determined by science, and science can never be wrong. You can see all the science over at weroguelikeit.com. Quick reminder that the hosts of the other part of the show are going to be playing Raccoin for the next month. Hopefully you'll join all of us for all of that next run. Bye!
Bye.